No,
He's
no, no.
ready
It's just
He's ready already.
no. It's just this army thing, right? With logistically, it's difficult. Everything is okay. You go.
Hi guys, it's another episode of the Drunken Ramblings Zoomcast with the Gareth next to me.
Hey,
Ivan, Alexia, Joel. And today we're going to talk about a very recent topic that I came across online. It's an article at Straits Times with a very misleading title about what activist Karona Lim said is the call to review NS to weed out toxic masculinity. And we won't go deep into what happened in that article because there's many different layers, but we're just going to tackle one aspect of what's said in the article. And do you guys think that more women in the army might change toxic masculinity in Singapore?
I think right off the bat, Carolina said that the NS is an experience to toughen up our boys and build bonds between males across ethnic and class divides. But from that assumption alone, I noticed like her point of view is completely wrong already, because NS is originally and in the most basic sense just made for protection of Singapore. And the sense it makes sense to have males who are, I would say, genetically like stronger to fight.
It's the byproduct. It's the byproduct of how the military is somewhat function. We get our training, or we kind of model it after the other countries, mainly United States as well, and their culture at that during that time, whether unfortunate or not, or maybe it's getting better now, is kind of somewhat very masculine, and a lot of I mean, you see now, I don't know directly how masculine it is or how much the culture is like, but I only have movies to go back on, and the movies they portray them really harshly. During the wartime, right? Yeah.
And actually, what Ivan said actually is very accurate.
Yeah.
About how the reason to join NS
is to protect.
And I feel that narrative of like it's meant to build bonds and shit. It's just told to young men to be like, yes, that's your route of passage as a guy, and everyone in Singapore needs it, so you need it too.
Before we go deeper into the question, right, then maybe we just break down what toxic masculinity means. So it's like the definition is more or less mental and physical toughness, aggression, emotional insensitivity, which when you come to think of it, right, like we all been through NS except for Alexia, but it's kind of true where, if you're someone who shows us, if you're more feminine, if you show more weakness in certain aspect, you tend to realize that the guys down there, they just tell you to like brush it off, like just be a man, just ignore it, right? They don't actually talk about the problem. Yeah, exactly. So go back to one of my examples. When I was in NS, right, there was this particular guy, and he was more towards the feminine side. So he was more expressive. He was more clearly not the stereotypical man that we see today. But because of the way he acted, it's nothing wrong. His personality is great guy. He's a fun guy. It's just that because he's more feminine, others tend to avoid him and alienate him. So he became the black sheep of the platoon just because of the way he acted. Which I think that, this is exactly what this is about, toxic masculinity. Right. So we're introducing,
No, go ahead.
No, so going back to the question, we're introducing women, like females, to NS solve this issue.
Okay, wait. Sorry, on your point on the alienated platoon mate, I feel that our situation now is better than in the past in terms of acceptance of flamboyancy. I feel this is my personal opinion. I'm not very sure how the facts are at, but let's bring it back to maybe my uncle time or our parents' time. I think that is totally like, once you act a little bit flamboyant, bye-bye. you get bullied so bad, right, that you don't know how to live your life. And I don't think they even have support for that.
You get the shit beaten out of you.
Yeah, you get the shit beaten out. You get blanket party, all that kind, all the whole package. But now, right, I would like to believe that it's better. Yeah, and
it is better, definitely.
And I tend with education and all that kind of thing, and the exposure, it will benefit lah. I mean, they will benefit the youth. Okay, I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure about that statement. That's too much. Yeah, I haven't been in the army very well, but during at least for my experience, my BMT experience, I felt that there was some platoon members who were flamboyant, and we, at least for my experience, we didn't outcast them.
But you're the JC batch.
No, that was mine was a poly batch.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
okay, no, I completely agree with you actually.
And I think it has to do with how we function in a group. So just nice in my group, they were more diverse, and there were more acceptance to this. So yes, there are a few of them surely I can tell that they have a negative connotation to people who are flamboyant. But when they want to like hit, right, they need to have the backing of the group. And if the group don't back them, then they just keep quiet. So it just needs, that if you don't let them open that door will never be open, and then nobody will get bullied. That kind of feeling.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we are too busy bullying the people who try to do a stupid thing and try to like talking when there's tough days and not help the platoon, or selfish behavior. That is more important in my platoon eyes or in my experience eyes. We want to whack those people that want to sabo us.
It's just like the majority, what the majority thinks, and then the rest will just
that's how our society works in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely agree that nowadays the majority, or at least edging towards the near the majority, they are more accepting towards this group of people, but there are definitely also still some that are not, right? And it just happens that my platoon was one of the unlucky ones lah. That the guy got bullied because of that.
Yeah, it's a long.
And you were JC or poly or
poly batch. Yeah.
And that makes a difference lah for women who don't know. Yeah, it makes a big difference in the army.
Maybe you can explain.
Yeah, I heard about it. All sorts of
I come
stories
from dropouts batch, so my batch is all like you have the Angmo person, Angmo Kantang person that he's doing INS just to get it over with and then go back to US, that kind. And they usually, even them, they get put in a corner because they speak in slang and all this. And then you have the Abings that they were willing to fight with generals, that kind. And go DB and don't give a shit. And then you have the real gangsters, you have the wannabe gangsters. So usually it's the wannabe gangsters that's find trouble lah. Yeah, and then this whole mix together, it doesn't lead to good things lah usually. And then if there's someone that is flamboyant in any way, they will get bullied. But because the dropout batch is also so diverse, there tends to be at least one support group. So it really depends on other batches as well, because every freaking platoon is so different. Yeah.
I think regardless of education, right, it's true that systematically, even in the songs that we sing or the route marches, the cheers that we say, or the scolding that we get, there is some insensitivity to oh, you pussy or you're gay. My grandma can run faster than you.
Yeah,
so
they shut that down.
There is a point.
They're shutting it down already. They at least during my batch, right?
There's also a hierarchy, right?
They start banning all the songs that are sexist or anything, because when we sing these songs during group marches and our 24 click is out in the public, right? Once your parents hear that, right, outrage. Yeah, so all these songs are being
that is true. That is true.
Yeah, so I think past my batch they won't learn it. Our sergeant have to secretly teach us in a hidden room all the dirty songs, because we asked him for it. We want to experience, we want to know the whole dirty songs and stuff, right? So we asked them for the dirty song lyrics, but we weren't taught that.
But Alexia,
I know the original one had rape and all that incorporated also.
All that.
Out also,
wow.
Rape,
that's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, the old song don't even relate to us. One of the old songs was something about Vietnam, bring me back with a Vietnam, bury me with a Vietnam whore or something like that. But it doesn't relate to Singapore. It's actually the United States the war in Vietnam. No, that's one of the songs.
Yeah. Alexia, what do you think? Do you think women and mind you, women are technically already allowed in the army, but the way that they integrate with the rest is pretty much might as well. It defeats the purpose, in a sense, if you want to bring it back to the idea that adding more women in the army could help with toxic masculinity, because they pretty much don't mingle.
But because I guess what you guys are like experiencing are all those offline moments whereby you are back in your bunk and all that. We don't, maybe your sergeant and all don't see it, like maybe they do see it, but they will not really go into it.
They won't do shit lah. It's a boys' club, locker room talk kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about now. I know previously back in like the army is like so bad that like it's really like what you all mentioned. But as you see people grow, as like the younger batch going into army now, are they really also going through what you are going through? Or if let's say it's softer, I mean, if let's say army is like softer now, right? Then with this woman coming into the army picture, will it be like better to integrate rather than like because previously everything is like men in army is like very masculine, harsh and everything, but now that they are putting like, hey, a woman are welcome to join and to experience and all, I believe they should be able to do some kind of integration, which I agree with Gareth that that we will never be able to sleep together for like one bunk and all, because it's kind of inconvenient. Then we may have more stories after because of this like man and woman thing. But it's just like school. So it's like you're going to school, when you go to a mixed school, then you go to camps.
That's a good comparison.
Correct. So boys and girls are all like separated when they go for school camps, right? So there is also some form of like trainings we all go through together. It's just that at night we don't see each other. Then if things want to happen, right, I think through this conference or lecture that Corina Lim was going through, although the topic covered was like the NS, is it a toxic masculine, but she also brought up topics about like before NS, what can we do to put this like gender equality thing, or like put this toxic masculinity topic to be away from before going to NS. So that's why I'm taking the angle that so now I mean we are for like how many years after we have graduated from secondary school and going to army and all. So the kids nowadays I think are also very different. Then to me is girls going to army, if I were to put myself into this, it's that it's going to be inconvenient definitely, because I mean we have like periods and all, then you need to clean up at whatever, which you guys will think that army we go through all the dirty stuff, you girls are like princess and all. But I believe there are girls who can go through this. Or we talk about maybe like school training camps and all, girls also go through as dirty as what the guys go through, right? So in that kind of environment, it's not about whether if the boy want to stereotype another guy, anything can happen. It's maybe within the guy's mindset that we need to set them, and not just putting girls into it, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean girls will go there, okay, come, y'all don't disturb this friend of mine, maybe girls will come in and stand up for the guy. But the guys yourself, what are you guys thinking towards meeting this kind of people?
Yeah, what you say is true, because during my time in army, when I was in SCS, so my platoon had, I think, 6 females joining as well. And then it's like full-on infantry, like they went through everything, field camp, route march, everything physical, they did it also. And the only difference is just the sleeping arrangement and the toilet arrangement have to be different. But aside from that, they did everything, like the same training.
But do you feel that they would have, like, for example, if someone were getting bullied, would having that female there change the guy, maybe prevent the guy from doing it, because he might feel like a bit paiseh to bully another person in front of, or something, I don't know.
Like definitely the officers and all the intrigues were a lot softer on us.
No, yeah. And that's the thing. Like on Ivan's point, I think it's fine if they're 6, but I think what is kind of the bigger picture for them to have impact, right, they need to be a big number. So on
like the school thing.
Yeah, no, but the school thing, right? Okay, fine. It works in the school thing because at night they sleep to it. But in terms of army, in terms of military, right? There is a function why they are sleeping in the same bunk. There's a lot of reason. It's kind of formatted that way. Yeah, and it's kind of difficult if they are sleeping in different bunks, unless there's just one section purely girls and one section purely guys, and then the intermingling will not be as much already. Yeah, but the point is that because there's a lot of camaraderie spirit and a lot of helping each other within the bunks, and that is where I think most of the work, the friendship and the bonding all take place. And if that is missing, right, then the girls will kind of have their own group and the guys will have one group, which tends to be the case in secondary school as well. There is like the girls hang out with the girls and the guys will hang guys. Any guy that cross that barrier kind of like, hey, you go hang out with girl, that kind of, that kind of thing. But probably when we get older, it won't be that way, but
But everyone will be 18 anyways.
Yeah, anyway, in army, my batch, that when I was observing another platoon with females, right, they are very strict with how guys handle how guys and girls interact. Apparently, for my platoon, for my company, when our opposite corps had females, the commander from the other corps came over to give us a speech about, as though even if you look at our girls, you die. That kind of, basically that was the message. And when during their push-up or exercises, push-up, you all face the same direction, 45-degree down, right? The girls face opposite direction, the guys face opposite direction, because the guys cannot look at girls, that kind of level. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay, that's
No, it's very strict. They don't want anything to happen. The girls, the place. Okay, so this is another one. I'm not sure about the SCS one, but in BMT at least, right? The living accommodations for the girls, right? They have a cage, like there's a cell. They can lock their door up,
Prison.
No, I think it's for their. I feel it's like maybe in the
security.
past shit happened or whatever, like there's a lot of we're not exactly very old and matured at the age of when we go into army. I can tell you for sure there are still a lot of immature people, a lot of boys that have a lot of they're not developed enough, and they just see girl and they just lose their mind, like an animal, that kind of thing, and it happens. 2 weeks of confinement is enough for some of these guys to go a bit crazy. So no, there's too much. That's why my point is there's too much logistical problems that comes with trying to add female, and whether it helps the. Sorry, what?
To sort of wrap things up, like the answer whether to introduce females, would it sort of mitigate toxic masculinity? What does everyone think? Yes or no? I would think yes, honestly.
I also think yes lah. Somehow it might help a little. I think it will soften soften this like NS kind of masculinity thing, I feel.
And especially if the girls like train together with the guys, like the guys' behavior will definitely change. It's just like, for example, you take yourself, for example, you go on a boys' night out, how you act with your boys versus you go on a mixed group friends, how you act in the group also. So it's different setting, different environments. I think in each setting, people behave differently. In all boys setting, that side will definitely come up. Masculinity must show you're tough, cannot show emotion kind of thing. But in the mixed setting, you sort of come down a bit, so sort of think about the girls' end as well. So I think, okay, maybe you have to be more sensitive to other people's emotions, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree with both of your points. Actually, honestly, I think this can be a step in the right direction. But I can see where you're coming from. I can see the direction you're going, but I can say that it can easily go the other way. It can easily become worse. It can easily become like a competition, and then if the girls don't do as well as the guys, then the guys start going, oh yeah, we are superior, we are whatever. That kind of thing can happen.
Could be.
Yeah, it could happen. I just say it's based on the situation at that time. Yeah, fine. If the girls don't do well, then the guys will be humbled, and then maybe that narrative of toxic masculinity will go away. But if the girls do well, do badly, then it could go the other way, where it kind of reinforces their idea. So I feel like this situation is kind of like, it depends on the batch and dependent on the people, and at the end of the day, it really depends on how you view it. So it can go both ways. I would love to believe, and I would love to say that the way I can see your idea and your angle, and I like to believe that will happen. But the risk involved with going the other way is kind of strong as well. And I feel
Yeah,
that
I agree.
when you reinforce, right, and there's no coming back from being reinforced at that level.
I think like if you put all of what the three of you just said together, right, a lot of toxic masculinity comes with the person in charge, in a sense, because they're the ones kind of like pitting us against each other. But if instead I kind of, for example, you have groups of 5 girls and 5 guys, and the only way you maybe succeed in your task is if everyone in that group succeeds. So no matter what, the guy needs to watch out for the girl, and the girl needs to watch out for the guy.
Yeah, he brought a very important point. The position of leadership. If the female and the male, I mean, there are female and male leaders that hold the position of leadership. The mindset is different. I tell you, some of the memes that I've encountered, the kind of respect that we have for them is on another level, and that kind of like, it will demolish your perception of what masculine is, or all this kind of thing. Yeah, it will demolish that, because the mem chick will murder. Basically, you have fear.
Yeah, for Gareth's point about going the other way, right, is I also strongly believe because of the nature of this profession.
Yeah.
I mean, it is about rank and like discipline. So at some kind, most of the time you will have to, perform. Yeah. So if you don't perform, be it today you are a female or you are a male, right, you definitely will be under the same pressure. So like what Annie said, maybe it's really like, okay, it's back to the culture of how you want to build this whole this army thing about. Because gone were the days whereby, it's really the army kind. But nowadays, I think that is a little bit different with the army climate now, and with all these new recruits, all of our little brothers, sisters, maybe going into
do things differently. You believe that they're doing it differently now.
Because of the age and the culture, and also it's like the era is different already.
Kind of shit,
yeah, I mean, it will not. You see, at your time, it's already. You will have hear people saying that, last time army is so much tougher than your time. Then you are going to tell the people below or younger than you the same thing. Then they will feel like, army now not like that already. You don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. Then you guys will start to feel, unfair, that kind of thing. But I think that's what the changes are actually happening. Yeah, but
Alex, I want to ask you, like, if you are 17 years old, right, and then the government say to get rid of toxic masculinity, all female have to go NS 2 years. Like, how will you feel?
Come and go, Lord.
No,
I mean, for me, right, maybe I'm a bit different. I don't know, but I ever thought of like joining the 2 weeks. This volunteer.
I say it's a good experience. It's fun. You get to fire a gun.
So I was like thinking, you want to try, but of course, to me the concern, of course, is like accommodation.
No, I mean, I feel like if we split like one building is for female, one building is for male, I don't think that's a huge issue.
I think if for the experience, if you have one platoon of girls, I think that function well as well. I mean, it works.
It's just like to me, I see it like those leadership training camp where like your seniors or teachers trying to train you like as though you are in the army, that kind. I mean, we went through that kind. Of course, it's way tougher than what you all went through, but I feel that somehow similar to this, because I mean, you cannot say like girls don't like the TNO. I believe there are boys who don't like I cannot get to bathe, going out.
I still hate it. I hate it.
Plenty.
Don't like getting dirty also.
I think it's really about the mindset. Mindset. Because especially girls nowadays, it's not like they are like the princess kind anymore.
I think they still exist.
Whereby, they still exist, but of course, not everybody will do it.
There are also guys that make their mates carry their bags for them.
And there are guys who are princesses as well. So
So if Ivan, you ask me if I will still go. I will go and try.
Have you all ever watched the interview? It was this interviewer asking like females on the street.
I know this one. It's so famous.
Do you think
It's
guys
the
should serve
JC girl.
NS? Then majority of the girls were like, oh yes, they all should serve NS. Protect our country. You know, they get to learn a lot, be grown men. And then the interviewer asked, oh, so what about you? Will you serve NS? Huh, me? No, I don't waste my time. 2 years of my life. Wow.
You should see the interview. It's so amazing how fast
Oh
she
my
fit when
God.
it involved her. Like,
But
I
that's
mean,
a fucking good way to end
yeah,
off.
they asked that question. Wow, that one really, I felt that. No, I got like, wow, so next level.
So everyone
Is
go
this
and
a-
watch that video that Joel is talking about. Do you have the title of it?
Oh, I tried to find, I can't find it, but I remember it was
I
it
can
was
send
an
you.
Indian lady, if I'm not wrong. She
Yeah,
was
I
the
can
one
send you.
that
I can
said,
send you.
It's okay. We'll put the link. It's out there, and I think that's a good way to end off.
yes.
Yep.
Okay, for those of you that enjoyed this episode's Army Talk, all right, feel free to drop us a message on our Instagram, Facebook, message us, follow us on our socials. And also, if you want to talk about any topics or you want to hear any topics that we want to talk about, just feel free to send us a message, yeah?
And
So we'll see you
subscribe to
guys
our
next week.
YouTube.
Oh yes, upcoming YouTube channel. We get to see Ivan naked.
Nice. All the time.
All the time.
See you guys.
All right. Cheers.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.